feel like, is this, yeah, that's like in focus, I think. Sure. Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about building your newsletter lists legitimately and not just buying people, because that's a big no-no for marketing, digital marketing. And I don't know if you should be taking this advice from me, because I sent out a newsletter, a Father's Day sale newsletter, to 8,000 contacts a month and a half after Father's Day in work. Whoops. What's up, guys? Joey Geither here with JG Multimedia, and today we're going to be talking about how to build your newsletter list using WordPress. So you can help grow this newsletter list so you have legitimate people who are interested in what you have to say, what you're doing, what you're marketing. And this way, you're going to drive in more business, more traffic either to your website, social media platforms, or your products. Now, you could always just buy an email list, or I guess get it somehow illegitimately just by phishing for emails, but that's not a very productive way to go about collecting emails. I mean, you're going to get probably blacklisted from email services. A lot of the times, email services like Constant Contact or Klaviyo, they check out your list and ask you, how long have you been collecting these emails? What business are you collecting them for? How'd you collect them? And yada, 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 stuff like that you really should have legitimate answers for, to make sure that your list is refined and that, you don't have a bunch of people who have unsubscribed previously, to make sure that your email list is legitimate as possible. So we're going to be talking about how to collect this list of people for your newsletter using WordPress. So I'm going to be taking you through steps on how I just previously set up my WordPress newsletter page sign up and how I plan on collecting emails for my email list. And so as you're going to see here, it just pretty much is me starting out with a new page. I just took my old contact page in WordPress and I duplicated it, and I'm planning on building a separate form, a newsletter form that people can sign into it, use it, fill it out. They're going to fill it out. They're going to fill out my newsletter sign up form. So I use a plugin called WordPress Forms, or WP Forms. I believe it came with the theme that I purchased, Inspiro. But yeah, so that's what I'm using. You can use other contact forms. WordPress has a ton of them. So what I'm collecting in my form: name, email, and I'm also adding, I didn't do it in this video, but I added it after the fact, was their number, because I know with Klaviyo, you actually have the ability to send out text messages if you have the contact's number. So that's something that I think is worth gathering while I'm setting up the form, so I'm going to do it. And I'm also collecting what they're interested in, either graphic design, photography, videography, website development. And so this is just so I can narrow down the emails I send out depending on the list and what they're interested in. So, it's just more targeted. So once you set up the form for your newsletter in WordPress, how are you going to get people to actually fill out the form? You could send out that link to people, but unless you really have a reason for them to go there, they're not going to fill it out. They're not going to give you your information. So give them an incentive. So what my plan is to get people to sign up for my newsletter, what I'm offering them is free stuff, because people want free stuff. They're going to be like, wow, this is free and I have to click twice, fill out some stuff, and then I get free stuff. Hell yeah. So what I'm offering is free presets that I've created, as well as free informational articles on topics that I've written about. So as you can see here, I'm just editing a photo, and then I'm going to create a preset and call it like turquoise water preset, because people love blue water, I think. For pool shots, summer shots, all that stuff. So I'm just going to create these presets, export them, and then offer them as downloadable files. My newsletter, once the person fills it out, is going to take them to a page where they can download 6 presets that I've created for different stuff, and then 4 different informational articles. And maybe those numbers will change. Maybe I'll add stuff eventually, just keep building off of it, and, send out a newsletter. Hey, there's new downloads, even though they've already signed up for it. I don't know. Just like a thank you, I guess. For the informational PDFs that I'm creating, I'm going to make sure that they're linked back to my website, along with my other social media platforms that I want to promote, kind of give my information on there so people can contact me. Because once they fill out the newsletter and they see this PDF, well, maybe they want to check out my other stuff. So the PDF offers an easy way to do that. And so when I exported the PDF, I actually made it an interactive PDF, and this just means that the links all link back to stuff so you can click on it, and also the resolution is high quality, so it's not going to look bad. And obviously for a multimedia company, if you're creating multimedia, you want to make sure it looks good, because that's what you're about. That's what I'm about. That's what I do. So as you can see here, I just created pretty much a template for my PDFs and I just filled in the information and kind of created the same look for all of them. So once I created the newsletter page, I created the newsletter form that people are going to fill out. I created an incentive for people to fill out that newsletter, offering them free stuff. I need a page where they can actually download all this free stuff so that, they don't get mad that, you just took their information for nothing. They're filling it out for a reason. So we need to create a landing page after they fill it out and click, for their free downloads. So the page that I filled out was kind of a page that I took from my website. It was the service page. It just had a nice grid layout for different stuff. It's nice blocked pictures with, buttons and descriptions you could add to them. So I figured this would be a great page for downloads. And so as you can see here, this is just me setting it up. So once somebody fills out the form, you can actually see that it goes right to my own email that I had set up for my website. So you created the newsletter page, you created the newsletter form for people to put in their information, you created the incentive for people to fill out your form, whether that's free Lightroom presets or informational articles, whatever. You created those. You created the landing page for people to go to, set it all up so they can download that stuff. So how are you going to get the word out, If you're not like a big influencer or anything like that, it's hard. It's hard to get just your foot in the door. So what I plan on doing is using different Facebook groups and posting, my newsletter link there to anybody who's interested. Obviously you want groups that are related to the topics or subjects that you're writing about or posting about, advertising for. So you want to make sure you target those groups. You also want to make sure that, the groups allow you to post promotional stuff. Otherwise you can get kicked out, banned, yelled at, mean comments. Nobody wants those. I've never actually done this before, but I decided to create a Facebook ad just to try it out because I am kind of a digital marketer in my job. So, this is something that I should be good at. So hopefully I'll do well and my ad does well and I get a lot of newsletter signups offering this free stuff. So I set it up, I targeted the audience, the geographical locations, age, stuff like that, interests, anything that, could really narrow down the target group to the ad that they'd want to see. Nobody wants to see ads, but if you're going to see an ad, it might as well be targeted. So yeah, that's my plan. I'll let you guys know how it goes. I have tested, posting in Facebook groups, stuff like that, and I did get a few newsletter signups. So, my list is actually growing just using this simple tips. And, WordPress is incredibly easy to use, and it really comes down to just putting in the work to create stuff that people would want to download and are willing to give out their information for it. And hopefully you can retarget them with e-blast in the future, saying new blog posts you created, maybe a new YouTube post, something that goes along with the interest that they signed up for. But yeah, once I collect my list, I plan on sending out newsletters once a month using Klaviyo because I get 500 free sends a month. So I'm going to try that out and see how that goes. I'll mostly be emailing people about probably YouTube stuff, maybe a few informational blog posts that I create, as well as other stuff. I don't know yet, but it won't be anything spammy, so people want to see the content that I create and not unsubscribe from my newsletters, because that would be a step backwards. You work so hard to get all those contacts for your list, so you don't want to lose them sending out a crappy email or one that's screwed up and says Father's Day sale a month and a half after Father's Day. See how that came full circle? You don't want to do that. So yeah, that's going to do it for this video. Pretty straightforward and simple video, I think. But being a digital marketer, it all comes down to how you can create content and repurpose that content so people stay interested in what you do and you can retain their focus. It is incredibly hard in today's day and age to retain somebody's focus and attention for a long period of time. So hopefully with this gets your foot in the door and you guys can kind of follow in my footsteps. Maybe I'll do an update video on how this goes and if it does well or not. I don't know. I'm thinking that it might do well. I'll let you guys know how the Facebook ads do and keep you informed. But until then, make sure to check out my website if you have any inquiries or questions. My social media as well, Instagram, it's all linked down below. So until the next video, peace, bye. If I'm honest, I'll just make you cry.